What's up, people? ToadSlayer72 here, and today I want to talk to you about scales. Not any particular brand or type of scale. You have a lot of options there, but more about the idea of owning a scale and maintaining it, bringing it with you all the time. Making sure you have batteries if it's a digital. Things like that. I am shocked at the amount of times I've heard some sort of scale story from seemingly credible people otherwise, whether it be in forums or in person. There's always some sort of mishap when they get that, of course, right when they get that fish of a lifetime or the biggest fish they've ever seen or whatever. And this, puts an end to that. Just if you have it and you take care of it. I mean, it's not that hard of a thing to me. You buy a scale and you bring it with you every time. And if it's a digital, you have batteries, spare batteries. Or before you left that it works. At the very least, you know that. But, you develop a system where you have it with you all the time, or you have spare batteries with you all the time, and you just bring it. It's like your phone or something, you just make sure you have it with you all the time. That's where it ranks to me as far as importance goes. It's like right behind your rod, reel, your line, and your lure. It's like, boom, next I have to have a scale. And then a means of documenting it, like a camera or a phone or whatever. So, it's frustrating to hear that as a trophy hunter. But, I understand that not everyone is going to be that serious about their fishing. And, that's one of the cool things about fishing is that different people get different things from it. You're going to be out there and you just want to be out there in nature, relax, or if you're out there looking for a little meal or something like that, that's fine. I'm not this type of dude that's like some elitist when it comes to fishing. How could I be? I'm a bass fisherman, right? But the other cool thing about fishing is it doesn't matter what your intentions are. When you're out there, anytime your line is in the water, you could have something really special happen, whether it be a lake record, a personal best, a state record, or even a world record. Yeah, I go out there with the intention of trying to make that happen, and I'm focused and I have a certain expectation. But, even if you don't, it could still happen. So it's nice to have a scale. You're going to buy all this other fishing stuff. You make a one-time purchase for as little as under like $30, and whatever the cost of batteries are over the course of the years of ownership, and it's just a nice thing to have. It's essential in my opinion. So one other thing I'd like to talk about is, the whole purpose of a scale is to weigh things. And it's nice to know where your scale lies in that because, right out of the package, I've seen a lot of variation over the years. I've gone back to the store a few times, like 2-3 times in a row with the same scale, buying the same scale, which might have been the only option at the time, but trying to zero in on my calibration weights. And I've also had times where I've had to do some math on the water, because I knew my scale was out a little bit in one direction or the other. But you want to know that. You want to know where your scale lies. And the way that I do that, or have done that in the past, is, you get a couple different weights. I always used a 5 and a 10 pound weight, like for benching, like the ones for the bar, the plates. And another thing, don't trust that number that they put on there. They're off a little bit too. Not when it matters when you're weightlifting, but a few ounces is a big difference for fish. So I've seen a lot of variation there too. But I would take those weights and bring them to 3 separate places, 2 different post offices and a butcher in my area. And I'd log what each place said the scale, the weight would weigh. What their scales were reading at that. As far as I understand, these places have to have their scales calibrated at the very least annually. So there's some credibility there, at least enough for me. And, once you do that, and if you're going to be using the same weight, once you know what your weights are, like what that 5 pound weight is really 5 pounds, 3 ounces, and then you weigh it on your scale, then you go from there. And that's how you calibrate your scale. And the weights I use are just representative of the fish that I the range that I deal most in, or that I am striving for, especially on that 10-pound end and higher. If I was fishing for bigger fish, like a lot bigger, I would be using 20, 30, 40-pound weights to calibrate my scale. But that's just a little thing for your own peace of mind, even, because again, you never know when that's going to happen, and it's nice to know where your scale lies. But even if your scale's off a few ounces, and it's off a few ounces based on having a reference point, then you can do some math on the water or get yourself close enough, work within, an estimate that you're comfortable with. But so that's that. That's just a little bit of advice on it, and I know it seems like a little extra work you got to go through, but really, you only have to do it once. Once if you keep using the same weights, once you know what they are, then you could use them and just check your scale every so often. But that's that and the calibration thing. And really, it's that simple, guys. Get a scale, use the scale, always bring it with you, and make sure you have batteries if it's a digital. So, I hope this resonates with some people who have bad scale habits, and if not, then you can be that dude who's holding up a selfie of this big fish and trying to find things to scale it up against, like your eyeball or your teeth or whatever, and man, look at my shoe, this is a size 13. How many of those equals this fit? Whatever. Do all your formulas, to try to come up with some sort of credible weight, or just get this and get it right. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and take care.